Star was running late. She had somehow overslept. Why wouldn't she when she spent half the night talking to Stanley on the phone about every topic on the planet but the one topic she should have talked to him about? She didn't know what to do. She didn't know if the threats were really serious, if this person could get close enough to harm him. If so, she should seriously consider breaking up with him. That was easier said than done. Everything inside her revolted against the idea. Not just because she loved him too much to break up with him, but because she had never been the one to give up. At least not without a fight. Would the fight worth his life? No, she answered herself. But there was no way she was giving up without a fight, without finding out who was behind the threats, even if it meant breaking up with him temporarily to satisfy whoever it is. So maybe a fake breakup, would he even agree? She was brought out of her thoughts when she heard her mom talking with a man. She quickly climbed the rest of the stairs down, a little afraid. This was not the time for her mom to be talking to strangers. To her astonishment, it was Jeremiah, seemingly in yesterday's clothes. "Good morning, Mom," she turned to Jeremiah. "What are you doing here this early?" "He never left last night. I had to invite him to sleep on the couch." She turned to Jeremiah for some explanation. "Mr. Stanley said you're not to leave my sight." "Why?" she asked tentatively even as Joy began to feel her spine. "I don't know, ma'am." She stared at him for a while. Stanley knew, she said to herself. But how? Where will Mr. Stanley be now? His home or office? Jeremiah looked at his watch. "Home. Take me there." "What's going on?" "Nothing, except that Stanley is becoming too possessive for my liking." She smiled at her mom to allay her fears. "What can I say? The man is in love," her mom teased. She hurriedly left before her mom would guess the truth. As she got to Stanley's gate, she saw IJ by the gate, apparently arguing with the security at the gate to let her in. Her vision went crimson with anger. She had thought IJ had given up. How shameless can she be? Trying to force yourself into your ex-boyfriend's house? "Stop," she said to Jeremiah before she could stop herself. IJ saw Stanley's car. Star watched her self-consciously adjust her dress, strike a seductive pose and smile. Then Star stepped out of the car. It was satisfying enough to see the instant disappointment on her face. "What are you doing here?" Well, the real shameless one appears. "But it is none of your business what I'm doing here." "It is my business because this is my fiancé's house." Naturally, when his ex, IJ laughed, and they called me a whore. Meanwhile, you are worse than any harlot I've ever seen. But I wasn't the one who snuck out of my boyfriend's bed and then put pants down, literally, trying to seduce his best friend. Are they aware you've slept with the three of them? When Stanley eventually dumps you, would you go to Charles, your so-called best friend's husband? Or, let's say you are right and I did sleep with Uche and Chok, and now they are all too happy I'm about to marry their best friend? It means I succeeded where you failed. If I were you, I would get a notebook and pen and learn the game. Don't fight where you can learn. It is hypocrisy. You all look down on me because of my poor background. I could have been Virgin Mary and it wouldn't have mattered. I also came from a poor background. So did Helen. Can you see the difference between us and you? That was what they looked down on. You just wanted a man who would pay your bills. You never improved or developed yourself. Yet he dated me for 2 good years. Those 2 years he loved me. No matter what, I would get him back. Some advice: quit coming here or you would be arrested for stalking. And about getting him back, quit dreaming. She got back into the car. It's no dream, baby girl. He just needs to look into my eyes one more time to fall for me all over again. Then we would see who should learn from who. These same ugly eyes I'm seeing. Or did you leave the ones he's supposed to look into at home? Star smiled condescendingly at her and rolled up the window as the car drove into Stanley's compound. I just stood there, foaming, as the gate opened and closed, filled with jealousy, anger, and regret. Stanley, already dressed for work, came into the kitchen and was startled to find his dad. "Good morning, Dad." "What did you do, son?" His dad turned from the cook and placed 2 plates of food on the island. Cooking, Stanley thought. His dad was upset. Was the universe trying to tell him something? His girlfriend cooked when she was angry, same as his father, but he couldn't cook to save his life. Nothing that justifies your anger. He sat down. You accepted your grandfather's will? It was a wise business move. Contrary to what your mom might believe, there is something like biting more than you can chew. John looked at him squarely. Dad, he began. Son, listen. You barely have time to enjoy all the billions you make. When was the last time you took a break? I don't mean running off to your construction site for the weekend because you're in a bad mood. I mean like a 2 week vacation. It's in the plan, Dad. Listen, I am proud to be your father. I trust your decisions. Still, I worry about you. Thank you, Dad, but I'm no longer a child. You shouldn't worry about. You see why I worry? A parent never stops worrying, especially if that parent only got only one child. Maybe if you were married and have children of your own, you would get it. Maybe everyone's dream would soon come true. I am engaged. Let me ask you, have you thought about what will happen to the Dagogo constructions when I pass on? That is a legacy you should worry about, not that of a man who thought your legacy was the dreams of a lazy drunk. Okay, that went from 0 to 100 in a flash, Stanley thought. Dad, why didn't you ever marry again? What has that got to do with? Because if your mom had remarried, you wouldn't fight so much about me, and you certainly wouldn't be worried about what's going to happen to your company. Is that your way of saying you don't want it? No, Dad. What I'm saying is, you should get married again. I wouldn't mind some siblings to share all these inheritances I seem to be getting from all corners. Besides, you are still too young, too handsome, and too wealthy to be alone. I am not alone. I have someone, just that she may have passed the childbearing age. So figure out how you are going to manage your. At the risk of sounding insensitive, if you are going to try love again, why not look for someone who can at least bear 1 or 2 children? I already have a child. So son, I don't know what you plan to do with Ajibola Group, but don't bite more than you can chew. Soon I'll be taking a back seat from Dagogo Constructions and you will take over. That is more your legacy than your grandfather's dying company. Be wise. He stood up and began to leave. Stanley watched him leaving. Can I have the name of the woman at least? When did you meet her? So you can run a background check on her. No thanks. Good morning, Uncle John. Stanley heard Star's voice and stood up, wondering what she was doing this early in his house. Maybe you should start calling me Dad. I hear congratulations are in order. Star smiled at him shyly. Star, Stanley said from the kitchen door. I will leave you 2 lovebirds to eat then. Good morning, she said to him. Is everything all right? How did you find out? Find out what? He asked. The threats. Isn't that why Jeremiah is my new shadow? You receive threats too? Didn't know about it. What do you mean too? When did you get the threats? Morning, yesterday. Where am I just hearing about then? Star was a little confused at his outburst. What was going on here? If he didn't know about the threats, then why was Jeremiah sent to guard her 24 hours? How many threats? So, yesterday. May I see them? Wait a minute. You didn't know? Why is Jeremiah following me about? You just asked if I got them too? Yes, I got some threats. He answered as she handed him her phone. Her eyes widened in shock. And you didn't think to tell me? I didn't want to worry you. I sent Jeremiah to guard you with his life. He opened his phone. Not identical but similar threats. Who will hate us being together so much? She asked rhetorically. I am working on it. I deserve to know what you are doing exactly. It's my life too. You and me and the police are working on it. But I am thinking of taking a different approach. What different approach? He led her to a seat. We enrage him. Enrage him? Someone is threatening to kill us and we enrage him? Brilliant plan. What makes this person so scary is the fact that he's a faceless monster in the dark. We need to bring him out to the light to show his or her face, and then we catch him or her. He borrowed Chuck's words. So we do the opposite of what he threatens? Well, that is using ourselves as bait? No, we are not going to be sitting ducks, love. We are going to protect ourselves. but it would enrage him so much that he would take a hasty step, and that would be his mistake and the opportunity. He borrowed more of Chuck's words. So what can we possibly do to enrage him that much? We get married. What? Think about it, love. We need him to be super pissed. We get married just to catch? Stanley, I really don't understand. It's one thing faking an engagement. It's another thing faking a marriage. Do you understand how big a decision marriage is? What do you suggest we do then? We don't just break up. We do some public PDA. I'm sure that is enough too. We need something eye-popping, something huge that is in total disregard of his or her threats. Marry him, Star thought. Marry him, she thought again. Wasn't that what she had always wanted? To be his wife? Wasn't that why she agreed and allowed the fake engagement to go on? Why she was dating him in the first place? Why she wanted some kind of commitment from him? If she was being honest with herself, the commitment she wanted wasn't just words, proving his love for her. What she really wanted was marriage. Here, he was offering her just that and she was going to reject it? Yes, she was going to, because as much as she wanted to become his wife, she wanted his love first. Yet, she couldn't deny that what he was suggesting made some kind of sense to her. The marriage would send the psychopath over the edge, and he or she would be too infuriated to make a calculated decision, and they could catch him. She looked at him as he was waiting to hear from her. I don't know, Stanley. Marriage is a big step. Is it going to be temporal or permanent? It's in your hands, babe. It will be the kind of marriage you want it to be. What are we going to tell people? Our friends? My mother? Whatever you decide, but I suggest we tell our friends the truth. The truth would kill my mother. I am her only child, and she has always dreamed about my wedding day for a long time. I know it's a very difficult decision, but would you rather be looking over your shoulders for who knows how long? I have 2 questions before I make up my mind. Will it be a marriage in name only, and at the end of it we get an annulment? Babe, it's in your hands. You are in charge here. Then he leaned in and kissed her, taking just little sips, teasing her. But if you share my bed, I promise you pleasure like you have never had before. He smiled at her, and his smile melted her, but she stood her ground. My second question, and I want you to be very honest with me, she said seriously, is this marriage just a ruse to consolidate your new inheritance? She was looking at him pointedly. No, it is not, he answered, looking her in the eyes. If that was my intention, love, I will go for a contract marriage with someone I have no feelings for. A 1-year marriage contract, and after that, we'll go our separate ways. Marriage with you is going to be very complicated. I'm falling for you every day, and I'm afraid I would never be able to let you go, if you so wished. Star stared at him. Only 3 things he said resonated with her. That he had feelings for her, he was falling for her every day, I would never be able to let her go. You see, I am just as afraid as you are, but I am doing this to keep you safe as quickly as possible. Will getting married prove complicated? Yes, but I am doing it because I would rather have a complicated relationship with you than lose you to this psychopath. She nodded and heaved a sigh. So when are we doing this? This weekend. This weekend? The earlier the better, love, he said to her. She heaved another sigh in resignation. As the man drove her to work, her mind couldn't stop thinking. What are you doing, Summer? She asked herself. Was she letting her love for Stanley blind her? Was she making an objective decision? Was there any objective decision to be had in a situation like this? She needed a dose of clinical reasoning, she said to herself. Was she being manipulated by an expert? He didn't say he loved her, but mentioning he was halfway there was the best way to get her to agree to anything. Did he know this? Was he fully aware of the extent of her feelings for him? Even if he was, why would he want to marry her? If it was just for his grandfather's legacy, he was very right. He could get a clean contract marriage without complications at the drop of a hat. He didn't need to marry her. Going to work would be a big mistake, she said to herself. Then she directed Jeremiah to take her to the one place she knew she would get some decent reasoning, unclouded by emotions.
In the still of the night, I think of you. My heart beats with every thought of you.